Good morning, all. Miracle Rising. Ooh, I hope you slept well. Whew. Last night, I went out with some girlfriends. Went to a local little restaurant. There was a band playing. They were really good. Golly, they were playing all my jams. The atmosphere was good. There's some, unique things, but there always is unique things this day and age. But for the most part, it was really cool. It was nice. I try really to be mindful of my surroundings. I try to be mindful of the conversation. I try to process and think before I say certain things. I'm trying to really work on that. Just given the circumstances of everything, I'm trying to not to be so loose-lipped. There's a time and place for conversations, and there's certain people that are capable of having those conversations with you, and there's certain people that aren't. And you just kind of recognize that. You just do. Particularly when you step into the political arena or the economic arena, people get really, really tense around conversations like that. I don't know if you pick up on it, but I surely do. And so when I feel that tension, I try to maneuver it the way that I do. Because there's just no need for tension. There's just not. If a conversation doesn't need to be had, it doesn't need to be had. If there's misconceptions each people have, then leave it alone. Let it be. And it's just one of those things. Agree to disagree on it. But that's just how I feel. It's something I've learned, and I'm learning and focusing on myself. It's crazy. The night before Saturday, or that early morning, I had a dream with DeSantis. Talk about, he popped in my dream. I'm like, oh lordy. Oh lordy. Jury's still out with him. Jury's still out with all of them, truthfully. There's just a very, very few that is actually working for the American people. Thomas Massie being one of them. Marjorie Taylor being one of them. And you can just see how much they're doubling down to target them. That's when you know people who operate for the truth, people who advocate, and people that are holding certain individuals accountable for their wrongdoings are typically targeted. That's just the truth. That's the banana pudding. And it's a shame. It's a shame, but this is how these people operate. Something came to me. Seeing as we live in a world now that justifies bullying, that justifies targeting innocent people, that justifies arresting innocent people based off implausible evidence, based off inexcusable corruption, and based off he said, she said. Seeing as we live in this world now, it's really important to be aware of it. Because if it can happen to certain people, why would you think that it couldn't happen to you? That's why you have so many people staying in line, truthfully, because they're scared. They're moving in fear. But when you're moving in fear, they know they got you. Life wasn't designed to be moving in fear. That's for dang sure. But if you are someone that runs alongside, materialism, money, power, greed, comfortability in your lifestyle, all these different things, well, obviously you're going to move slightly in fear because the system has been built to control those items. You can't sit here and tell me that they don't control the money. They don't control the power. They don't control the greed aspect of it. They don't control the comfortability and where you're at in your lifestyle. This is all evident. It's just evident. There's certain people that work very, very, very hard and have their entire life and they can't get ahead. And then there's certain people that don't work very hard, but they have learned how to buck the system or get in bed or in contractual agreements with certain individuals that push them a little bit further. And that is all very evident. Just turn on the news. Look at TikTok, look at X. I mean, it's just evident. That said, there's so many different forms of bullying, and I know a little something about that. That's why when you find yourself in the area of being bullied, just understand that it's nothing about you, and don't allow it to make you feel less than what you are. Because truth be told, when people take it upon themselves to bully you, to isolate you, to make you feel not worthy to hang with the cool kids, you have to ask yourself why. What about you is making them act that way? You know, and perhaps there are things within you that you need to clean up, that you need to heal. But at the end of the day, if people choose to take these types of measures without having a one-on-one conversation with you and trying to understand the issues they may have with you, or whether they heard something or whatever the case may be, and they're not willing to do this, but yet they're willing to act this way towards you, well, the answer is in the action. It's in the action. And a lot of people don't want to see it, and it's hard. But it's being normalized by the tippity top and the grossness of bullying and the choice of words. There's no integrity. There's no character. I mean, it's crazy to me. You can see how people are just utterly disgusted with the circumstances that we're all in. People can't even bring themselves to watch him anymore because it's like nails on a chalkboard. And they can keep denying the approval rate, but it's evident that the approval rating is down. And it's just one of those things. You know, I voted for him, and I was just so hopeful that things were going to be different. I was so hopeful that the systematic abuse that I had been facing for years, something was going to happen. Something was going to be done about it. Because he said it would. He was going to drain the swamp. He was going to investigate the corruption. He was going to investigate and clean house with all these people within our system doing illegal things. These are things that he said. So I was very hopeful. I was very hopeful in that. So to me, I think that people have the right to discuss their grievances when they got duped, okay? And even those that didn't vote for him, but I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger, right? Same thing with the scenario with what happened to Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. Everybody's standing on these facts like, it's not our right to discuss this. Yes, it is. It surely is our right to discuss this. First of all, you plaster it in front of all of our faces so we can watch it. So there's that venture of it. Secondly, this is a nonprofit organization, a multi-billion-dollar nonprofit organization running in the United States. Clearly having some strong ties with the political sphere and the three-letter digits and the military operations of it all. So whether it's Erica at the top or this or that, we, the public, most definitely have the right to discuss things, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. That's just the truth, okay? We have the right to ask questions, and we have a right to demand the truth, whether you like it or not. You shouldn't have put yourself in this position. You should have started with the truth. You should have started there. But the seeing as you people don't want to start on truth, you don't want to land anywhere on truth, you've landed us here, where people are going to ask questions. People are going to talk about it. People are going to make videos about it. People are going to discuss it. I mean, this is just what's crazy to me. You make your bed and then you got to lie in it. That's just common sense. It's just common sense. I'm going to make another video.